Our next performer is dressed like Thor, wants to be called Thor. He gets hammered and drinks his fill, and sometimes he even Thors up. David Tyler McKay, everybody! No, Rand. David Tyler Rand McKay, whatever. His wife's out there, I gotta be careful. David Tyler Rand McKay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, citizens. He's correct, I do get hammered. That's why I have a little bit of a disheveled look here right now, as I was at a local science fiction convention this weekend and I got a little hammered. This is an expression, oh my goodness. Okay, if I stroke out, it's because the lighting's bad. Hammered is an expression that means to drink too much mead. I know you're thinking I'm over-explaining it, but as I learned from a science fiction convention, the norm for white men in your culture is to explain things until you slowly yearn for the release of death. So I will explain my jokes fully after each one. Yeah. I'm here primarily to explain a number of misperceptions people have about the mighty Thor and my people. I know you look at me and you think, oh, he's definitely a god, but not technically, although yes, I am godly handsome and no, I am but a being from Asgard, another world. Yes. And it's not Asgard, as some people say. That's a different planet. Not to say anything bad about the brave protectors of Asworld. They're a good, fine people. I don't need to tell you, you elected one of their citizens as president. He's known as Lord Fartbox back on his home world. Yes, indeed. Lord Fartbox? Yes. What other misperceptions are there about me and my people? Well, I've come to learn that there have been whole religions that have been created based on me and my people. And well, I have not come here to be worshipped by you. No. In fact, as I travel around, I see hammers on the top of churches and whatnot, and all these big tributes, and it has a little extra thing here sometimes, but it's very definitely a hammer that I see, and I'll go in these buildings, and there'll be a priest holding one, I'll say, oh, let me hit something with that, and they'll be like, oh, no. See people with little necklaces with definitely hammers on them, and some of these carvings are very elaborate. There's a little man in front of them, and he's kind of a protector. He has his hands out kind of like this, and honestly, although I appreciate your efforts, little protector of hammers, I think he's a little skinny, and a little sickly. I think he should see a doctor. I looked up his name. I did a search on your internet describing the kind of not wearing a lot man, and I came up with Tarzan. Tarzan is very definitely Tarzan is a protector of hammers in your world. Tarzan, yes. Some other misperceptions. Although yes, I can obviously control lightning, I don't control every lightning strike that there is in the world. No. Just ones that are against the invading aliens and golfers. Those ones, I just hate golfers. Everyone needs a hobby, is what I'm saying. The only other thing I'm really good at is whack-a-mole. As you can probably tell, I think it should be an Olympic sport, whack-a-mole. I appreciate your support in this. Most of you probably know me from the Avengers, right? Now, I know you hear the term Avengers, and you think, are these the good guys? Are these for sure? Because Avengers, the name itself sounds a little, I don't know, murdery? And indeed, we do a lot of murdering. Oh yes, we murder many people. But we do so in a heroic, honor form of murder. Some people will murder with sharp things like guns, or arrows. And, the truly heroic way to murder is through, blunt force trauma, basically, with a shield or a hammer. I know that's the way I'd want to go, is with a large, definitely not sharp object slowly going through my body. Yes, that's how I want to go. Although some Avengers do use pointy things, but they sell many less action figures, let's be honest. Since we're chatting here, I feel like we have a good connection. I feel like I could really talk to all of you. Well, I've been single recently. Dating has not been going well. Yeah, a lot of, well, I call it masturbation. Yeah. I know, I hate it too. I much prefer Thoral sex. Oh yeah, much preferable. But dating is hard when you have superpowers. It's very difficult. Some people suggest, well, why aren't you dating Black Widow per se? And I think, well, you know her name. I'm just thinking long term, is that going to work out? I feel like people say, oh, you should date Black Widow. I'm like, well, you should date Praying Mantis. How's that going to go? What's going to happen when you get married? Well, guess. Same thing as with Black Widow, maybe, right? People say, well, superpowers. What about Poison Ivy? She's lovely with red hair. I'm like, well, why don't you date Herpes Gal? Why don't you go ahead and date her and see how that goes? Yeah, why don't you date Castration Lass? Castration Lass. She just has a small guillotine and a smile. That's what she has. How are those dates gonna go? Well, from her name, not well. You know, it's funny, dating the old-fashioned way, like my father Odin would suggest. He would say, well, as you all know the stories, why don't you go to Earth in disguise as perhaps a giant swan or a white bull, and then you could have sex with women. And I think to myself, well, sure, we all know how sexy waterfowl and herd animals are, certainly. But I thought I would go, well, a little more modern. So I'm on OkCupid. Their age doesn't really go up to 1,000, so I had to lie about that and said 200. So not getting a lot of interest in that so far. You know, when it comes to superheroes, there's one that I've been hearing a lot about, but I haven't met. Wonder Woman. That's the name I could get behind. It sounds very quizzical, you know? Like she feels like she'd be reading a lot of books and asking you questions about your feelings. Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. Well, all right, I have to be honest with you. At the recent science fiction convention, I did get lucky. I learned a little trick from Superman to get in disguise. All you have to do, there he goes, like I vanished. Right? Completely different man. That's right. So I will admit I did get a little lucky, and afterward I felt bad that that I had fooled her. And afterward, I mean, she was saying that she had a really great experience, and I said, well, I have to be honest with you, I'm Thor. And she said, you think you're Thor? I can hardly pith. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, everyone. That was Thor, and he's obviously heading back across the Bifrost Bridge right now. Speaking